Hello, hello, and welcome to Speak Easy with Cheryl and Catina. I'm Cheryl,
And I'm Catina.
and our guest for this evening is Cassandra Durham with Black Girl Candle Company, and that is what you see on the screen. All right, and let's see one moment. Looked like we were having a problem with Facebook for a minute, so just bear with me. Hmm, Okay, now it seemed like it came up. Okay. Hi, Ola. Thank you for joining us.
Go to the comments.
All right,
Hi,
so
Ola.
we gonna get right into it.
There we are.
Okay. All right. Cassandra, for those who are new to you, can you give us a little background on yourself, a little of your backstory?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Cassandra Durham. I am the founder of Black Girl Candle Company. Most people know me through my work in the book industry. I used to be an author, and I wrote devotional books, and I wrote faith-filled fiction. I've always been the type of person who liked to do things that people tell me I could not do, which is why I wrote a book because somebody said you can't. So I said, "Won't get," and I did it. But I also get bored quickly, and I was just like, "Oh, this is great." So during COVID, I'm like everybody else making pound cakes and frying chicken on Facebook and decided to try candle making. And I think people saw the journey. And so they became invested in what we do. And so I just thought my friends were going to get candles for Christmas. I did not know, I had no idea it was going to be this. And so
Wow.
we launched in July of 2020, and it has been an amazing, amazing journey.
I bet it has. That's a big contrast from what you were doing in the book world.
Absolutely.
Now, are you planning on doing both, or are you just committed to doing this right now?
You know what? I normally answer that question with no, I'm not. But I also know that I probably will. I've left some work there for me to do. Should the urge ever come back to write? But Black Girl Candle Company don't really like to share me with anybody.
Ah,
She's really not into um, really
okay.
not into being a part-time thing. She's a hard taskmaster.
I
So,
bet.
Yeah.
I hope to do it one day, but I am perfectly okay in my life if I never write another book.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So that's good though that you're satisfied with what you're doing. That's definitely
Very much.
a positive.
What
Very
everybody wants to do when they grow up, right? When
Right,
they
right.
that thing. So when you were like, have you always been creative, even like when you were younger? Like my daughter, she's like got a room full of like scraps of paper, material from like socks that she's cut up. Were you kind of like in that mode as a can you give us a little background on that?
Unfortunately, yes, but I thought I was crazy because I've always had ideas running around in my head, and literally because I grew up the way that I grew up in
Hmm.
a low income African American community where I did not see black people being writers or black people even being candle makers and things like that. So I thought I was crazy because I said, how can you have all these ideas? Literally, I could drive past, well, first of all, um, I have to laugh because my niece does a lot of stuff like I used to do. She does, and my grandchildren, like you don't pick up a cup at their house because you know it's subject gonna have a little Dawn dish detergent, might have a little bleach in there because they trying to bleach the baby hair a different color. So you just don't quite know what you're gonna get. So what I do, but I was like that too. Like my mom would be so mad with me because I was mixing up stuff like I was a cosmetologist, even
Uh-huh.
you know, you're just like, what? But I really did. I thought that there was something wrong with me. I could ride past a car on the highway I would make up a story about somebody got out and they were kidnapped, and oh Lord, where are
Wow.
they? Or I could be walking down the street and see something and create these images and literally have these other worlds created in my head. So I thought I was crazy. Never thought talented or creative. I thought
Right.
crazy. You crazy.
But I guess you're saying because of the images that you weren't seeing,
Yes.
you
And
know, that was
ideas,
something.
for creative people, for a lot of creative people, it's you get these downloads. And what I've learned though, everything that filters through you is not for you. Some of
Right.
it is for you to share with other people.
That's right.
Some of it is to give to other people. And so what one of the things I'm working on this year is learning to filter what is for me and the things that were supposed to go through me.
Okay. That's certainly
I
a
love
goal. It's
that.
a goal because I mean, when you are creative, like you said,
Mhm.
there are so many things. I can remember having conversations with my husband and like being so excited, like, "Ooh, let's do this," and he's looking at me like, "What?" So,
Mhm.
and he couldn't capture that
Yeah.
vision that I had, and so I just kind of let it go
Mhm.
because that just wasn't, like you said, for me.
Right. And I think too we have to realize that when you realize that God is working through you, that you get your creativity through God, then you
Mhm.
begin to realize, ooh, don't make me preach on here. You begin to realize that as you push this stuff out into the earth realm, a lot of times it's stuff that I'm gonna say every time it's stuff that he wants into the earth realm. But I believe that everything that God has already given us is down inside. And so sometimes it's to filter that to other people to be reminded of what he put in them, you know. Um, because there's first of all, there's no way I could do all the creative stuff in my head. I used to think I could, but I
Mhm.
realized I cannot do all of this stuff. So it's gotta
Right.
be for other people. And so now I try to make it my business. And God always puts people in my path who are struggling with a business idea or some kind of something creativity and it just flows. And I know it comes from God. And I tell them, listen, don't thank me, thank the Lord.
I
That's
love that, and
amazing.
I love that you it because I also like am about service as well because I started a nonprofit several years ago in honor of my mother, and even with the book in the book world, I'm like pushing, trying to promote stuff. So I
Mhm.
love that idea that you because it seems like it's for the same for you. It's about service.
Yes,
So I
absolutely. We
love
live
that.
to serve. That
Hmm.
society would tell us pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you and just your family and no other. But we forget that we have a responsibility to others as well.
Right, right.
Really, it is more blessed to give than to receive. And so once we understand that there is enough here for all of us,
Yes.
enough money, enough provision, enough food, anything. And because that's just how God is. I don't understand. I don't, I can't, I would never believe that he would create a world that he can't support. So everything we need is here, but we have those people among us who have to be greedy and they want everything and will do everything that they can to get it. Well, I feel like it's our job a lot of times is to intercede and say, no, you cannot have everything. You can have some, but you can't have
Right.
it. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, so definitely that.
Especially when you're trying to take because I ran into that sometime too when I was doing my vendor events in the business in the vendor world, and
Hmm.
I ran into some of that backbiting and backstabbing, and you know what I was trying to do has no impact on you.
Yes. And the
And
book
so I
world can
ran
be
into that.
yeah,
Hmm.
I tell people, usually in one-on-one conversations, the book world can be um a treacherous place, and so especially when new writers come to me, I try to make sure that I guide them to people, credible resources, because everybody's an editor these days.
Right,
Everybody's
right.
you just
Hmm.
gotta go, what, last week you
Right.
couldn't put two sentences together, but this week you got a whole web page and everything. But okay, God bless you. I'm not sending nobody else there, right? And I'm gonna block everybody I can, and it's because right is right and wrong is wrong,
Right.
you
Hmm.
know and
Hmm.
yes, if I know that you're doing wrong, I'm going to say something. I'm not gonna, I think
Mm-hmm.
we as a people sometimes have allowed people to slide too far. Um, and so for me, the book world just got to be a lot. And I said, if I want this kind of action, I might well sell crack. I don't want to,
Wait a minute.
listen,
Oh man.
there's some stuff that go on. I'm like, I might well be in the dope house. No, thank you. I'm going to make some
Wait a minute.
candy.
It was so strange that you said that because I was just talking to somebody the other day, or yes, the other day, and we were talking about how some of the things that we've been seeing. And it's crazy. It's like this
Everybody
is just,
scared me.
and this stuff is just fictional stuff, most of it.
Yes. Mhm.
And it's not that
Mm-hmm.
serious.
Yes.
It's not that
And
serious.
that's just not how I live my life. It's just, and I don't want to live my life that way. I don't want to live my life where I'm constantly watching my back and having to be I just, like I said, if I'm gonna do all that, I might go out here, sell dope, and make some money for real. And
Mhm.
that's just not the place that I desire to be. And
Right.
then I think too, it takes a toll on you spiritually,
Yes.
and physically, because you're trusting what people tell you. But one of the things I've learned to trust but verify.
Ah,
That is so
that is
important.
so
I love
true.
that. It is so important because, like you said, everybody is an expert on something now. Since
Yes.
we have this social media, everybody they experts on this, they is experts on that. So
Mm-hmm.
you really have to do your due diligence
You do.
Yes.
to make sure
Yes.
that the person that you think they are is what you're getting.
Yeah,
Um,
because I
but
think
in the business world too, because I ran into a lot of that too. I had hired a PR person who
mhm.
didn't deliver on not even half of the stuff that they said they were going to deliver on, and I was out of all that money. So
See, and then there's no recourse,
right.
and so I
Right.
feel like it is my obligation that if I know something is not right, I'm gonna share it.
Hmm.
Because that's just like I said, that's how I live my life. I
Right.
can't
Yeah.
say how other people live theirs, but it's just some stuff I'm not gonna be not able to sleep at night because I took something from somebody. No, that's not gonna be my testimony.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
That's
and
awesome.
and peace of mind is a powerful thing. So because
Yes.
I always wondered, why? Because I saw a few people ask you about when is the next book coming, and I knew it was something that was keeping. I kind of figured it was. So now, I, but I hear you. A peace of mind is. I'm telling
Yeah.
you everything.
And
Um.
I'm gonna tell you, and to be 100, one day I was fussing at God because I do. Um,
Okay.
and I said, I don't understand why this is happening to me and all this other stuff. And he said, you having a complete duck fit about one talent when I gave you five. Go do something else. It's not like and see when God tell you I've given you five talents, go do something else,
Right.
he's gonna bless the work of your hands. And so
Right.
I just went and did something else. I was like, I ain't did but I've had he's proven himself faithful time and time again to
Right.
me with trying stuff and doing stuff, and so that's why I think so many creative ideas flow through because I'm gonna give it to somebody. I'm gonna tell it. I'm gonna give it to somebody.
Hmm.
But it doesn't but me sharing with you what God has shown me or I saw or I felt it doesn't diminish me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I tell
Mm-hmm.
people all the time, we are so much better together. We will
Yes.
always be better together.
Yes.
And so
Always.
I would rather join forces with you and help you get to where you want to be than sit over
Mm-hmm.
here and go, oh my God, I can't believe. Girl, go to sleep. Take a nap. Because we're better together. I think that there's some things that could just extremely blow up for us, but until we become united and realize that it's enough for all of us,
Right.
then
It really
people
is.
are going to always have issues because greed and pride. And I just, not that I'm perfect. Please don't get it twisted.
Hmm.
Please don't get it twisted.
Hmm.
But I think when you make up your mind and you decide that you're going to live as morally and ethically as you can, then you
Yes.
try to stay out of the way of the evildoers.
Hmm.
If I can say it
Mm-hmm.
that way.
And
I
have that
agree. I
discernment
agree.
to be able to tell the difference
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
feel that spirit of people when they approach you.
Yes. Absolutely. And I
Mm-hmm.
look at candles are ministry. And that's what people don't, what people understand it now because I do it more. But I always tell people it's never about the candles. It's always about the faith. It's always,
Mm.
he just uses the candle to open the door to have the conversation about faith, you know,
Okay.
and be in that light and darkness. I always say this. I said I steal Motel Six's old slogan. We will leave a light on for you at Black Girl Candle Company. I want you to know whatever you're going through, you're not in it by yourself. You know, we're
Mm.
praying for you, we're covering you, we're gonna leave a light on. So whenever you begin to turn around, oh God, whatever you begin to turn around in your situation, you're gonna see that light in the darkness that we're
Mhm.
here and we're waiting for you and we're walking through it
Wow.
with you. Yeah.
I love that,
That's
Sandra. I
beautiful.
love it. I love it. I love it. And you're right. With candles, you think about calm,
You do.
soothing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I definitely can. And I have candles, and I plan on getting some of yours. I was going to ask you too. What are some of your popular scents that you have?
Oh my goodness. So spa day. If you think about when you go to a very expensive, exclusive spa,
Mm-hmm.
that peace, and that level of care you get on that, you get all of those vibes with spa day, right?
Okay.
We have a Sunday morning candle that is simply amazing. It's so good that Tabitha Brown, it took her, but when she smelled it, it took her back to being at her mama's table getting her hair straightened on Sunday morning.
Oh.
Oh man.
And I loved it because scent is tied to memories, you know, and
Yes.
It
memories and
is.
emotions. And so Sunday, of course, Sunday morning, spa day, headache be gone. A lot of writers and a lot of people that work from home buy the headache be gone candle. And then we have our fun and flirty fragrances that get me in trouble all.
Saw those.
We noticed. Yeah, we noticed some of those. I'm like, okay, what does that smell like?
Oh my God. So if you follow me at all on social media, right?
Okay.
First of all, I'm a clown. Most people
Mhm.
don't know I'm gonna always be somewhere laughing. Pretty much, I can laugh about most things.
Mhm.
So
Hmm.
I got a letter about 2 weeks ago, and I posted it. Of course, I blocked out the lady's name and everything. And she said, my brother is a school superintendent, and how dare you create a candle that says "Make him eat you." And can you imagine how shocked and embarrassed he was by giving it away? And I was like, girl, what is you talking about? Because first of all, the candle is called Make Him Eat It, and it
Right.
smells like cake. So why your mind go to the gutter, Miss
Right.
Man? Because it smells like cake. Because one of the
Oh
things that I
man.
do when I'm trying out a new fragrance, my friends will tell you, I will literally get out of my car, walk up to your door, knock on and say, smell this. Like they know me. Like
Right. Right.
everybody that smelled that candle always say, oh my God, it makes my mouth water because it smells like cake. Um,
Oh, okay.
and
Because your mind does okay. Because I was like, okay.
and so we're like, make him eat it. But if you smell it, it smells like cake. Like if
Okay.
so I was like, Miss Ma'am, that's not even, but I might name one that now. But thank you. I've had women to walk up with the name, make him eat it on a piece of paper and just slide across the table like we selling drugs or something. It is so funny. Um, and the make him jealous candle, they always get a question, does it work? Why, yes, ma'am, it does. He said, what do you mean? I said, I tell you what, next time he leave the house, light your candle. I said, I guarantee when he come back in there, he's gonna ask you who been here. Now it's up to you. You should have been home to find out, or you can tell me your candle. Either way, because we want to create conversations, and we also want to create fun and flirty fragrances.
Right. Right.
Black
Right.
women run the gamut, right? Um, and when I created this company, I was thinking about Black women, like who takes care of Black women, who makes sure that we're okay, who makes sure that mentally we're well, that spiritually we're
Right.
good. And I
Right.
wanted to create a company where when you get our products, it is a reminder to take care of you, to see about you. What do you need, right? It's
Right.
all about creating these moments of peace and clarity because if we keep it completely honest, we've all had our back against the wall before. We've
Right.
all felt like we couldn't take another thing. So we got this counter call, you got this, sis, right? We've
Mhm.
all felt like, listen, I don't want to do nothing but hang out with my girls. And so we got the Sunday brunch candle for that, right?
Right. Right.
And the champagne bubblies are so potent that you smell it and you literally feel the champagne bubbles on your nose, right?
Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
we
Oh,
we
I
wanted,
love that.
and then Black people, us, We really believe in sage and everything, and Native Americans use Palo Santo, and so we were like, let's merge these two, and so we got a Santo and sage candle,
Okay.
because
Okay.
we run the whole experience. I get sometimes letters from people like, "Oh my God, I thought you were a Christian organization." I'm like, "I'm Christian." Black Girl County come and confess nothing.
Right.
Now her owner,
Right.
I am a Christian, but this business, she got to do whatever she wants to do.
Right.
Um,
And Christian
you know,
women, what
right? Yeah,
we
but it
still.
creates conversation. Think about how much conversation. So, because when I'm with my friends, that we're talking, and
Right,
so,
right,
think about some of the conversations you have, and some of the things that you need. Like you got, for example, you got this candle, right? I want every woman that gets that candle, when she's feeling like she is at the end of the rope, she cannot do nothing else. I want her to light her candle, right, and sit in her peace, right, and let God begin to minister to her. So we think about all these phases that we go through in life, from birth to death,
right.
in these different stages. And so how do we send something to somebody to bless them no matter what stage they're in? And that's why we have such a wide range. Like we have a prayer shawl box, and in fact we're doing pre-orders for it now, and we pray over those prayer shawls. We spend 3 weeks praying over these prayer shawls. I
Mhm.
mean, for real. We do scriptures and we do oils and um wax. I mean, we really try to make something. We try to create unique products that minister to the heart, soul, and soul of Black people. I mean, because I'm Black.
Right,
Right.
And I get a lot of flack by, "Oh, it's Black Girl Counter Company. You should be ashamed of yourself for naming it this." And I say, "Well, my mama Black, but
right. That's what you are, a black girl.
and my friends have told me time and time again, you blackity black." Like, you real Black. Some
Oh
days you
man.
extra Black, Cassandra. But I wanted to represent us. I wanted something, because I've had so many people come on our page and like, "Oh my God, what if I named this all white girl counter company?" I said, "Well, you have that, daughter. It's called Bath and Body Works. It's called White Barnes, right? That's what it is, my dear.
Yeah,
What's that
you're
other one?
right.
You
Mhm.
have to tell people, you have to get them off of you, and
Right,
understand
right.
you have yours, and me naming my company Black Girl Counter Company takes nothing from you.
Takes
Takes
nothing away from you, and it doesn't mean that just by you acknowledging your culture,
Mhm.
what you are, your ethnic, your race,
Yeah.
that doesn't take anything away from you doing your own thing.
Don't take a
Um,
dime from Yankee Candle. Trust me. Don't
No, they
take a
sure don't.
dime.
They
But
sure
I
don't.
also, but I also tell, I know my role, but and then I think too, when you get clear about your purpose, right? I know my lane, and so when Bath and Body Works have they $1 sale or whatever, it don't bother me, because it ain't.
Mhm.
I mean, it ain't costing me a thing. You know what I'm saying? I've had
mhm.
people to tag me and say, "Oh my God, your competition, baby." I listen. I can't make enough candles for the people in Alamance County. I certainly cannot handle their candle load, so it don't bother me. You know,
That's
once
true.
once you know what your lane is,
Right,
it's so much
Right.
easier to stay in it. And I
right,
tell
Mhm.
people, when you're driving on the road, right, it's hard enough to stay in between your two white lines, right?
Mhm.
Because even if I look in your lane too much, my car, oh
I'm gonna
God,
go
gonna
it
that
begins to
way.
swerve.
enter over
Right,
that way.
Mhm.
And
right,
so it's hard enough for me to keep this in between the white lines. So I don't compare my business with other businesses. I don't compare my walk with other walks, because comparison is really the thief of joy. Like
It
you
is.
will get so caught up and so angry and so
Mhm.
frustrated, looking at other people's lives, that half the time the images they
yes.
show ain't even true in the first place. So if you just keep your car in between your two white lines,
Hmm.
right, and go on your journey and go at your pace, right? Because I may not be able to drive as fast as you drive in your lane, or I may
Right,
not drive. I may be driving too slow trying to get in your lane, but which means I'm gonna cause an accident somewhere. So if I
Mhm.
just focus on staying, keeping my life and my business and everything in these two white lines, then I'm gonna be just fine. But it's the moment I start looking over there and looking over there.
right.
Think
Mhm.
about social media,
And
right?
it gets you out. It takes you out your focus when you
Yeah,
start worrying about what other folks are doing. Um,
absolutely.
and like you said, it's a place for everybody, and what come is for you is gonna come for you.
For
Yeah,
you.
What's for them is gonna go to them. So
yeah,
that's how we all need to start thinking about like you said, being collaborating,
yes.
instead of competition all the time.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. We're better together.
I
much better.
agree.
Yes.
I
And
totally
as
agree.
women, that we really need to band together. You know,
Yes. We have
all
a thinking of you be well box that we created customly for Black women, right? It's, it comes with scriptures, candles, and stuff like that in it, but it comes with a card that says be well, or one card that says thinking of you, and we have happy birthday and all that other stuff. But we created those strictly for the mental health of Black women. Like, send your friend struggling, send her a box. You don't know. See, people don't understand. You don't know the weight and the impact of when somebody is going through a test or trial or tribulation to get something in the mail, because it reminds them that somebody is
what
thinking of
somebody's thinking.
praying
Correct.
for them,
Yeah.
covering them, and they're not suffering their test, their trial, their tribulation by themselves, right?
Right.
And so it's about sharing love too, like saying, "Girl, I'm proud of you. Look at you. Girl, you finally got that degree. You done been married. In your school journey, you done got married, you done got divorced, you done had kids, but baby, you made it. You held on to the end." And so I
Mm-hmm.
love to send boxes, and we send boxes to random stuff. Like I may see, I saw where this physician was the first African American physician to be providing services in this town. So we sent her a box, and we was like, and we just put this card in and said, "Go Black girl, we see you. Go Black
I
girl, we
I
see
love
you."
like
that. I love that.
that.
And
And
I
so
love that.
yeah, and
'Cause,
so they get this random box, and filled with all of these great smelling products, and it just say, "Go Black girl, go. We see you." I told somebody, I said, "Get me Fonnie Willis' address, baby. I got something for her."
right, right, right.
She said, "A man ain't a plan." She said, "He a
Yes.
companion." I said, "A man ain't a plan. It's a companion." I mean, she was so honest. If you go back and listen to what she was saying, that's what it feels like to be raised by a Black man.
Mhm.
Who
Yeah.
taught you that I'm the only man that pay your bills. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So to even um, see her go through that tribulation, right? And come
Yeah.
out and be, people are like, "Oh my gosh, she's aggressive." Shut up. You know what? Sometimes y'all need to be. I need to answer you in an aggressive manner, because sometimes you out your lane. You asking me
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
stuff that you don't need to know. And we see time and time again with other people who insert themselves into things that they have no business, where they have not been invited in the first place. Make a mess out of something that wasn't even necessary. I was looking at TikTok about the lady. The man was sleeping in the car in a disabled parking spot, and so she was harassing him until I guess he punched in the face. And then she got on TikTok and was crying about, "I got attacked by a Black man." And I said, "Well, why was you bothering him?" Because he was in his car asleep. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
stay in your lane. And so we have to learn. We really have to learn our space and our place, you
Yes.
know, and that we also, in our own spaces and places, can be a blessing to other people, right? And so if you know your girlfriend going through something, send her a card, send her something, let her know, because it sucks to be going through something and thinking because if the enemy could, first of all, ever isolate you and to
Uh,
think that you're alone, he gonna wear your brain out. Look where
Mhm.
God at now. God don't love you. He ain't answering your prayers. Look at you. You ain't got no friends. Everybody done left you. And it's like, child,
mm-hmm.
my friends going through too. They home crying themselves.
Right. And that's what we have to get to too, because a lot of people suffer in silence. So sometimes you
Yes.
don't even know what
Yeah.
Nope.
the person is going through. And I've been guilty of that too, where you don't necessarily let everybody know that you're going through.
Yeah.
But
And sometimes that'll help you as well in your
mhm.
own whatever you're going through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Taking your eyes off yourself and looking at somebody else.
yep.
Absolutely.
You're
Hmm.
blessed
Yeah.
too.
And when you
Most
bless people, you
definitely.
open yourself up to be blessed.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
that's definitely true. Now, how did you end up learning the process as far as the actual candle making and combining the scents?
So um by some of the craziest trials ever.
Oh.
So I remember, but I clearly remember getting the candle kit and unboxing it on live, and was like, "Okay, I'm not going to read the instructions. What we're going to do is we're going to do what I think that should be done, and then we're going to
Uh-uh.
figure out, and then we're going to figure out if what I did was correct or not." So we had a lot of that. with a lot
Okay.
of, oh, look what I did. It worked. We're gonna try something else. I mean, literally, I would be on Facebook every day with this insanity. So I was like, okay, y'all remember I made this yesterday. So I'm gonna light it. Let's see if I blow up my house. I mixed up like so blending candles. I did not know was an art. It's just
Mm,
me being who I am, right? And I think when God gives you certain gifts, you don't know how to do it. And that's the only thing I can
mm,
tell you. Like, I don't know how I know how to do it. Um,
mm.
but we did have quite a few trials. I remember dropping like 40 pounds of wax on my floor. I mean,
Oh my goodness.
it was a mess. And I had to get a paint scrubber and get on my hands and knees and get that wax up. And
Wow.
then it was the time I spilled 8 pounds of wax on my carpet. Um,
Wow.
I get wax out of carpet with a blow dryer and a towel. I do not recommend. Zero star, highly ghetto, zero. Not, but so blending it really works for me like this. I can smell a scent, and I'll
Hmm.
start thinking, oh, I wonder what'll happen if I mix it with this.
Mm-hmm.
But that gave us some of our biggest mistakes, right? Like
Right.
we make this manifestation candle, and I'm probably going to bring it back, but I got to remix it because child, that thing, she was volatile. But you learn because and one of the things we have to do by law, is we have to test candles, and so
Mm-hmm.
we did a lot of testing. The American Candle Association tells us that we have to test every time we change a fragrance, anything you change, because
Okay.
candle making is really about chemistry. So if you change one component, you got to change it. You may have to change everything else. And so
Right.
blending for me was just like, oh, I think these two would smell good together. And thankfully, it's worked.
I would say so, thankfully.
Thankfully, it has worked out. But we've had a couple of private losses that we have taken in that area.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
And that's the growing pains of any business, though. Trial and
Yeah.
error, and you finding your feet.
And I
So
Um,
didn't and I didn't want a business. I was playing. I was kidding. And I laughed because I'm like, and sometimes, I quit this job every day. Every day I'm like, I'm done with this. I ain't
that's
got
what
time.
I was gonna ask you too. Yes.
Yeah, every day. I'm gonna tell you, I just had a meltdown yesterday. I was at my shop, and child, you'd have thought I'd have lost my mind. And you have sometimes you have those breakdowns that be breakthroughs. And I just said I gotta learn to balance my time better because this is about to drive me crazy,
Me and Katina were just talking about that. I just said I need to learn. I had to do better with my time management to make it
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
flow. Yes.
Because what
Mm-hmm.
happens is you wind up keep giving, giving, giving. And for me,
Yeah.
um, you can pour all day, but at some point you got to be refilled. And if you're off balance, you can never really truly be refilled. I always tell people this that, what God gives me in the cup is for me, but the overflow is for everybody else. And so if you live your life constantly pouring, right,
Right.
it's hard to get balance. Because for me, starting this company put my life out of balance. So this girl right here has taken over 99% of my life, and I've had to really step her back and say, listen here, you can only go so far because you're getting on my nerves, and I cannot live my life continuously out of balance, because what I found myself doing was working 18, 19 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
It for 3 years, and I
Mm-hmm.
had a close relative who went to work and died at work, and I said this will not be my
Oh
story.
my gosh.
And
Yes.
so I came back from her funeral, packed up my shop, put everything in storage, and I said, let me figure out how I've learned how to balance this company and my life. I'm fortunate to have a business coach who has really helped me with creating a business that I can love and a life that I can live with.
Okay. I
That's
love
So
that.
amazing.
yeah, so a lot of times, a lot of stuff that I used to do, I don't do anymore because I just don't have the time. But I
Right.
also stopped working for Black Girl Counter Company from dusk to dawn. She has a certain
Yes.
time of my time she gets now, and if it ain't done, it ain't done. It'll be all right. I work for her, you know, 2 days a week. I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
because I've spent the last 3.5 years going so hard because look, this is what I look at. The things that I've had, the things that I've been able to do in 3.5 years, a lot of companies don't achieve in 5, 10 years. You know, we've
Mhm.
had amazing press, we've had amazing brand recognition. We've had, you know, we had Auntie Tab, love our candles, you know.
Yeah, I saw that. I was so
Ah,
happy for you.
Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
so
yeah.
we've had a lot of success, but at the expense of private losses. Because the thing about when your company grows as quickly as mine did, for me, I stopped spending so much time with God because I was so busy working.
Mhm.
Instead of keeping him first, I put him second. And I
Mm,
realized that none of this doesn't work if I don't keep God at the front. And so I
right.
had to say, girl, we finna break this thing down because I gotta serve God first. And although he
Mhm.
uses me, this is a the candles and the company is a different way to do ministry. And although he's using me that way, I found out that it's like with Elijah, right, in the Bible, and when he was sent to the wilderness, right, to the desert, that was so that God could download more instructions for him. But what we do is we get in these desert places and we back up instead of moving forward and getting closer to him. And I realized that I had backed up and it was causing me problems.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got out of
Yeah.
balance. You know what I'm saying? Anything you put before God, you're gonna lose anyway. And
Right.
so what I realized is that my life was severely, severely off balance. And I said, you know what? I have no problem because I'm honestly, if I don't make another candle, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because what I
Yeah.
also know is I'm not gonna be making candles the rest of my life. I don't intend to. One of the things that I love about being creative, I'm gonna find something else to do.
There you
Right.
go. There you
Right.
go.
I'm gonna do
Mhm.
something else. Because when I
Mhm.
wanted to shut this down permanently, and I said, wait a minute, you're gonna be doing something else. You might well keep working this. You might you might don't reinvent nothing else. Don't create another thing. Let's just make this something that you love doing and that you enjoy doing, and let's fall in love with the business of it. You know.
And I
And you
like
know what?
that.
That no, go ahead, Katina.
No, I like that because sometimes we think, like you initially said, you thought you were crazy because it was so many things, and we were, we're kind of taught to focus.
Mm-hmm.
You got to
Mm-hmm.
focus on one thing, and but do you don't really have to, as long as you, like you said, you have that balance,
Yeah.
and you recognize where your strength, your ideas, your creativity is coming from,
Mm-hmm.
everything else will fall into place. And even if it's something where, like you saying with the books,
Mm-hmm.
that hit a little stopping area and then you just move to something else.
Mm-hmm. You
So,
absolutely, and think about that's how life should be, though, right?
hmm
If this not working, do something else. But I can tell you this: everything in my life has led me to this point. I just didn't know it. Like I had
right.
never in my life worked retail ever. Wasn't ever gonna do it. I mean, because I had heard stories or whatever. And
hmm
so, I when I lived in Raleigh, one particular Christmas. I was working for the state then, and we only got paid once a month, and I wanted to buy my
Mm-hmm.
grandchildren gifts, and so I was like, Lord, it's a rose. It was a Kmart. It was up the street, and I said, God, can you bless me to be able to work through the holidays so I can get my grandchildren some Christmas gifts? And he opened the door, and I went in there, interviewed. They hired me on the spot. Great, it's gonna be great. I did not. I had never worked retail a day in my life. I don't know,
hmm
but let me tell you, by the time that thing ended, I was sitting in my car crying and asking
hmm
God, like, why do you send every crazy crackhead that want to fight over toilet paper in my lane so they can cuss me out, talk about my mama like a dog? And I don't understand. He said, because you're out of place. You
Hmm.
asked me to allow you to do this for a certain amount of time, and I gave you the grace to do it. But you kept on doing. You didn't even come back to me and ask me for extended grace to be able to do it. You just
Mm-hmm.
kept on. It's almost in every crazy crackhead drunk person in your lane until you decide.
hmm
He
hmm
said, and I love you so much. I'm gonna let you make the choice. You can stay there and work as long as you want to, but just know
Mm-hmm.
you're out of place. And so
Right.
I that was profound for me. And so that day, that night, and I said, well, God, one of the other reasons I stayed here is because I'm a social worker. That's what and I don't make a lot of money.
Right.
And so I need the extra money. And he said, trust me, a job that I had been looking at from afar for years, that night came up on Indeed. I sat in my car on my lunch break, applied for the job.
hmm
The next day they called me for an interview. And God had his hands on it because they interviewed me. And I still, because the other thing is I work a full-time job too while I do this. And so, but what I learned about is the power of timing, the power of seasons, the power of being in the right place at the right time, doing what God called you to do in that season. But when the
Mhm.
grace for that is up, you need to move on. And so we have been taught, like you said, to focus on one thing. You don't have to focus on one thing.
Right.
You do have to pay attention to when that season is up and when that timing for that thing is up, right? Because I started off on Facebook making pound cakes. I sold 250 pound cakes on
Wow.
such crazy people in my life. Now I get on Facebook. I don't know how to make pound cakes. My friend we're gonna hop on this line at the height of at the very beginning of COVID, and she's gonna talk me through making a pound cake. You
Uh-huh.
crazy enough to buy it? I said, yo, it's crazy. But it also taught me that God said, I will bless the work of your hands. And so for
Mhm.
me, it doesn't matter what my hands are doing, it's gonna be blessed.
Gonna be blessed.
So, but I knew I didn't want to make. I didn't want no pound cake business. I didn't want. I just didn't. I mean, I know because I know that I get bored easily, right? And
Mm,
one of the things I asked God for, is I want to tap into every gift and talent you put into me.
Mhm.
Right, because we hear that scripture, we have a treasure in this earthen vessel. We think it's just our soul. No, it's all those gifts and talents and blessings in there. But you got to dig around in the toolbox to see what's there. And
Mhm.
if
mhm.
you know anything about working on stuff, and I don't, but I can tell you this: you need the right tool for the right job.
Right.
So you got to dig around and see what fits where and how does it work. And so, uh, uh, making pound cakes, what making pound cakes though did was made me precision about my measuring and how I'm
Hmm.
mixing and
Right.
Okay.
how it takes something to do something in a certain amount of time and how does it taste and how does it if you put this much flavor in it this time it's just going to explode in the cake if you know what I'm saying. So everything that I've done have led me to here, right? Because working retail taught me how to work retail for my own
Right.
business,
Right.
mixing, making cakes and pies. And even
Mhm.
when I was doing the glass, that intricate part of doing that glass etching has led me to the details and stuff here. So even if you look at your own life, right, you can look at so many experiences that have led you to this moment, right, to this particular trail. And so
Right.
you go walk down the trail and just see what's here. Because I'm like, Lord, I don't know what everything you put in me, but I certainly want to tap into everything, even if I don't get to hit it but one time. I just
Mhm.
want
Mhm.
to see if it'll work. I just want to see what it'll do. I want to know what'll happen if I put my heart in it one time. What'll happen if I lean into the gifts and the talents instead of backing away because I
Right.
think I'm crazy or I'm afraid or people gonna think, oh, there's something wrong. No, baby, lean in to it because you don't
Mhm.
know that thing that you're leaning into could be the thing that's going to change your whole family financial trajectory. You don't
Mhm.
know. And so, but God knows. And I've learned that the more I lean into him, the more insight I'm getting on how to move. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So is that what got you to make that step to go into business for yourself? Because that's not an easy thing to do. Did you start out with the self doubt and wondering if you
Mhm.
had what it took to do this,
Yeah.
or
Nope.
what was it that got you to that point?
So I didn't get in any self-doubt into year number probably about 2.5 years. Then I had
Okay.
the worst case of imposter syndrome because I'm crazy,
Right.
right? And so I'm dumb enough to believe that everything that I do is going to be successful on some level.
Okay.
I just don't know what it's going to look like when I get there, right? And so no, I've never been scared. No, I mean, why would I be scared?
Well, that right. That in itself is an accomplishment because that's usually what most people that I talk to say that self doubt is what keeps them stuck for a moment. And I know from personal experience doing my different things, ventures and stuff. But
The
now, did you
self.
always have a business coach though, or did you start out
Nice.
I found
trial and
out.
error?
So what happened was at year 2.5, I don't know what happened. Well, that's when the economy started getting back a little bit crazy. Things were not happening. I mean, it just went completely crazy. That's when all of my issues developed. And so what I
Mm,
learned though in that process, I needed a business coach because I don't know what I'm doing.
mm.
I don't know what I'm doing.
And
Hmm.
that's key because a lot of people are always looking to get like a mentor in business and stuff, and not everyone is willing
Right.
to impart what they know. So that's good that you found somebody
No,
that.
no, 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 no. Let me say it like this. I have a business coach that I pay because I
Oh,
think it's unfair to ask people to give you something that you have cried, sacrificed, been up all night for. Now, that the people get in my inbox all the time. Can you answer? I will answer one question, but I'm not going to spend my day coaching
right,
you through something, right? Because I
right,
have a coach I have to pay, right?
right,
I'm in her course and it works well. She handholds me through a lot of stuff. And like
Mhm.
right now, we're in the process of rebuilding Black Girl Counter Company because I have to be able to manage this, my life, my job, my other stuff. And it just grew
right,
so quickly because people think, oh my God, you blow up quick and it's great. No, it's not. No, it's not. Especially if you don't have the systems and the structures in place to handle it. Right.
Mhm.
I
Right.
didn't have the systems and structures in place to handle all of the sunshine God was showing my way. We have been on the news so many times. We have been in magazines. We have, articles everywhere. I mean, thank you, Lord, for what you've done, but also you need the systems and the settings in
yes, to
place.
be able to keep up with that
Yeah,
business.
Yeah.
and with it being just me
I,
and part-time admin, Shavana, I can't because I have a job. And not only do I
Right,
have a job, but I got children. My parents are older. So,
mhm.
I'm in that generation where thankfully my children are grown, but I still have my parents.
right,
I got a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. And then not only that, I teach Sunday school, I teach Bible study. So I can't there's only so much I can give this. But I had to
hmm
learn because I thought one time I was going to lose my mind. So I wasn't afraid then. I didn't get afraid till 2.5. And then I got frustrated and I got angry because I couldn't figure out why I was stuck and I didn't know why or how to move forward. That's why I got a business coach because I said, I don't even know what I'm doing, first of
right,
all. I mean, because
right.
we've been out here winging it for 2.5 years on a wing and a
Mhm.
prayer. But let me get somebody who has done this, has replicated this time and time again,
Right.
that know what she's doing. And she does. She has done this. I mean, she's been on Good Morning America. I mean, her candles are everywhere. And so I connected with her. I had another business coach. And see, this is the thing. You have to get a good business coach for where you at and one for where you trying to go. Right.
Mhm.
hmm
So first business coach I had helped me to stabilize the business where it wouldn't be
Okay.
so much up and down, highs and lows, highs and lows. She helped me to
Yes.
stabilize it. Right.
Mhm.
Then my second business coach is teaching me how to downsize it, compact it to create a life that I can live with, but still make money and still do the ministry and stuff like that.
Right.
Because this stuff will drag you down the street. I mean, literally.
Yeah, it's no joke running a business. And it's there's no off time. Basically, you have to, like
Yeah.
you have
That's
to balance
easy.
it. Hello,
Mhm.
Eva. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Um,
That's my heart
yes,
right there.
yeah, I love me some Eva J. Brock. She was just on my other show the other day. Um, so we got some lessons in that one too.
Oh, isn't she
Yes,
amazing?
yes, she is. Katina was in the audience. She was like, "Oh, we learning something tonight." Yeah.
Sure
Every
is.
time I talk Every time I talk to her, I learn something new. I do. And I love that about her. I
I can
love
see
it.
hmm
that.
See, that's the thing we can't be afraid of, right? We
Yes.
got to be able to get those nuggets when they're, being
Mm.
given out and not feel intimidated or
Mhm.
anything. Just like get the information, child. Just get the information, get that knowledge. Because I've always been the type of person. I don't ever want to be the smartest person in the room because it's gonna be some rebels,
Right.
baby. I
Right.
Right.
want, I want to be in the room with women smarter than me, more powerful than me, so I
Yes.
can
Yes.
learn. I want to. I don't. And the thing about it is, even with me, like I will take you on this journey with me, but you got to keep up. You know,
Right.
you got. I can't keep coming back to you. Okay, you don't. No, 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 no. You got to keep up, baby. And so
Mhm.
hmm
that's one of the things. It's about collaboration, right? And
Yes.
all of
Mhm.
And inspiration and uplifting each other.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. If you lucky, you have that circle, around you, that type of
You're
circle
blessed.
around you.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And I
Yes.
have powerful women like her that speak into my life, and she'll get in my inbox and say, "Hey, hey, you know, did you think that was cute?" I have to say,
I know if I show you, oh, you said this is her show. You talking about Cassandra and me. I know if
Said-
I'm talking about my other show. I don't know if she's talking about you or me,
I think she
but
talking about Cassandra.
oh, she said this is your show. I get you.
Just your girl.
Um, Now you talked about some of your challenges, as far as having a system in place, not having a system in place.
Mhm.
What are some of the other challenges that you have faced in your business?
Oh, I would say the number one challenge is lack of access to resources to grow, right?
Mm,
Nobody is rushing to loan a small black business
yes,
capital,
yes.
money to grow. Like one of the things I do at the end of the year is I sit down and I look at exactly how many candles we sold last year. So I know that's my starting point, right?
I got
So
it. Right.
right. So with capital
Mhm.
to grow, like I would maybe what I would love to do is be able to buy enough jars for the next year. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
prices fluctuate so much. Or so that's the biggest thing is capital. And because
Yes,
we have to bootstrap our businesses, right?
yes, yes,
And
yes.
so it's the bootstrapping, man.
Mhm.
I wish that and I was scared to get a PP loan. I ain't lying. I was scared because I didn't want to go to federal prison. I didn't, and so stuff that don't look right, I ain't gonna do no.
Say, I don't even know about what.
Right, I mean, and so and I look at stuff, when the government starts saying we're giving away money, I'm like, oh no, 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 I don't want to, because I
Right.
don't know what's going to happen on the other
That's true.
side.
That's
But
true.
I would say the biggest challenge is lack of access to capital so that we can grow. I think the
Yes.
second thing is for me is the price fluctuations. Like what I used to pay for wax when I first started this was, one price, and now I pay two and a half times that price. And so
Yes.
you feel
Okay.
trapped because you can't go up to so much in price,
Mhm.
and so trying to just manage the fluctuations and not having enough access to capital.
And I hear
Right.
that a lot. Because like I told you, I used to be in this world a lot, and that's what I'm getting back into because I want to help highlight small business because my sister also has a small business, so I see how, just like you said, getting access, resources, other people are able to access things that we get
Yeah.
blocked on sometimes,
Absolutely.
and it's just a fact.
Yeah.
So
And it's
um,
super frustrating.
yes, I can imagine. Katina, did you have another question that you wanted to go into?
You offer candle making
Oh yes. So
classes. Can you tell us
yes.
about that?
Absolutely. So we created so when I first started doing candle making classes, I learned very quickly it was going to be an experience because Jesus was going to come. So yeah, he does. And so we offer in-person candle making classes. We do private groups, so we'll do sororities, church groups, friend groups, stuff like that. But we also just brought back our virtual candle making experience as well, where
Okay.
I tell people get 5 or 6 of your good friends together. Um, we ship the boxes out to you so you get them in enough time and make a whole girls' day of it.
Oh
This
wow.
last group we did was so hilarious because they muted me. Listen, they was in their own world. The child they muted me. They made their okay. This did their own thing. Every time they would let us, but it was so cool because I had like 7 groups like that, and so
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
I love that when and the good thing about our candle making experiences though, it's like sometimes we'll do an old school R&B one, sometimes
Mhm.
faith based on, I mean, because Jesus is gonna be there either way.
Right.
So we find themes and stuff like that to make it fun and make it interesting because a lot of times we don't take the time to allow people to pour in us. And I tell people, I think that I'm going to change instead of it being, a candle making experience, I think that I'm going to change the name to a candle pour because really the Holy
Mm,
Spirit pours in during that
right.
time. And so I think that's what I'm going to lean more into the pouring.
Now, do you do it? Do you do it periodically, or how does that work as far as the
Yes.
class?
So we have a class coming up March. Let me look at my calendar without my glasses on. March uh March 6th, we're having another class. That's a virtual candle making experience. And so we do them. We also do them like with church group, community groups. I'm getting ready to do a huge church group in March. And that's cool. Like I will, in most cases, I will come to you if you're, if
Oh.
you're
In the
local.
area, right?
We do them private in home.
I
Oh
love that
nice.
idea.
I
I
like
love the
that.
virtual too. I wish I could. I have another broadcast that day, but I would
Yeah,
love to do something like that. Maybe so next
Mhm.
time that you do it, the
yeah.
virtual.
And we have a lot
But
of fun with it. We play games and all that kind of stuff. We have
yeah,
we have a good time.
Now, what advice would you give to someone who wants to start just starting out and wants to start their own business?
Um, I would say build your foundation before you ever start selling products. Like create the buzz before. Don't wait till you have a
Okay.
product and goes surprise. No,
Right.
you need to build an audience first. Is it marketable? Right? Do you have is the idea that you have? Is it a marketable idea? Is it market testable? Right? Can you put it out there and people actually want it to buy it? Because a lot of times, and this is something my business coach taught me because I didn't know this. A lot of times we create products and don't have an audience, right?
Hmm.
And so we need to research the audience before we create the product. But we create the product and then try to find the audience. And that's
True.
very, very
True.
hard. You have to get your audience first and then do your product, right? Because you need to know who you're selling to, right? So we were very backwards in Black Girl Counter Company. So I had to learn who my target audience is and
Yes.
how to talk to them and how to sell to them, right? You need to know that before you sell. I don't care if you're selling books, whatever. If you're selling something, you need to know who you're selling to because it's too broad to say I'm selling to everybody. No, you're not. You're
Hmm.
not. You know. And so we create products and then look for people to look for to buy them, and that's kind of a bad business decision. I can tell you.
Yes. 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 Um, Now, with all the hurdles that come with the frustrations and hurdles that come with being in business, but I know your faith keeps you
Mhm.
grounded, and but what else do you do that keeps you motivated to keep going?
I surround myself with people who can speak life to me. I make it my business to speak life to other people. And so the people that are around me, they automatically know. I have one of my good friends, Cheryl Lee. If there's that child, I don't know what
Love,
kind of talent
love LaShira,
she
yes.
has, but she'll call me in the middle of the day. What is wrong with you? She says, Sarah, hush. Now what's going on? I mean, really, but it is so I have learned the power of support. Not only
Mhm.
being supported, but also the power of supporting other women. And
Yes.
I have been blessed to have some dynamic women in my life um, who know me so well that they know when things are not right. And listen, we go to dinner, right? We may go up to the local juke joint and eat a fish sandwich or something like that. We just try to get out of the moment and get out of
Right.
whatever you got going on. And I have some very supportive people in my life, and I'm so very thankful for them.
That is so
That's
so
amazing.
important. Yeah, and everybody doesn't have it, so yeah, that is
Mhm.
definitely a blessing.
Find you some people that will pick you up when you're down, but don't look at your service to them in that way. Look for people that you can encourage, that you can uplift.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes,
That
yes.
I always say this, and I absolutely mean it. I want to be a blessing. When people come, when I walk into the room, I want them to say, "Oh man, Cass is here. She's such a blessing." I don't want to be one of those people you see come and go, "Oh
Like,
my
oh no.
man,
Here she comes.
where I need to plant,"
Right, right. So we all know some people like that too. Like,
Right,
oh,
For
right. And I want to
sure.
be a blessing. Like I really want to be a blessing to people. I don't want to be
mhm.
a hinder. I really want to spend my life pouring into other people, but also not being so big headed that I don't recognize and realize when I need to be poured into.
Yes, that's the key.
Yeah,
Um, because you can't do much if you're not functioning, and at 100% yourself.
yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
something that we as women have to learn because we
Mhm.
are in that
Too.
nurturing,
Yeah.
mindset. Most of us, yeah.
Hmm.
So,
Mhm.
but you have to also take care of yourself. We actually were talking about that when we were talking about self care. That's another thing we're gonna be talking about in about
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hmm. And I
Hmm.
tell people self
Yes.
care is selfish. It should be.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
You should have
Exactly.
And
moments
there's
that
nothing wrong with it. That's
Nothing.
right. So
right.
important. Look, we're living in a time where anti-isms is at an all-time high. Audacity is out the window. I guess it was on sale 5 for
Yes.
Walmart.
Everybody got it.
And so, you really have to be able to protect your mental,
Yes.
Yes.
you
Yes.
know, and just be able to. I think that you got to figure out a way that you can cope, right?
Yes. And
And figure out
sometimes I
how to
mean
do.
just walking away because sometimes I just have to disconnect as far as the devices and all
Oh
that stuff.
yeah, Oh
or just
yes,
walking away from people in general
yeah.
and
Oh yes,
recognizing that they're not good for you.
That
yes. Because
too. Yeah.
That too.
and that's the best thing that you could ever learn how to see. One of the things is we don't pay attention to our bodies and stuff. I'm one of those people, like if I'm around you and I start getting all butterflies and all that other stuff. Now when I was a kid I used to think that was sexy, but no, that's your body's warning system telling you, listen,
Hmm.
something is not right here.
Okay.
Something is off. Something. So I listen to my body a lot too. So
Yeah.
even like if I walk out the door and the hairs on my arms stick up, I'm looking. I'm being observant. Because
Mhm.
sometimes I think it's the Holy Spirit. Let just be on alert. You need to, it may not even be anything wrong, but you need to be on
Hmm.
alert. You need to watch. You need to
Yes.
see what's happening. And
Hmm.
so I think that determining your self-care and pay attention to what your body is telling you, right?
Yes.
We have discernment, right? And
Hmm.
so for a lot of us growing up, we were told to sit down, shut up, that don't make no sense. But you pay attention to your body and what it's telling you, because our
Hmm.
bodies talk all the time.
Yep. Your body,
And
your instincts,
yeah,
don't stifle that stuff because
our bodies tell us more. We get so focused on my stomach growl. My body tell me, no, baby, your body been talking to you all day. But you got to learn how to pay attention and listen to it.
that
And
is
I think
definitely
it's
true.
sometimes your body will basically take over because
Yeah.
it will shut you down
Yes. Yes.
when
Yes.
it's time and you on your back. Like, whoa.
Yes. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah, because we think that we are made like machines. We are
Hmm.
not. We are such a precious commodity, such a precious resource. Because once we use ourselves up, we there ain't no more. You can't go dig up Cassandra out of the dirt. You can make you listen. One of my friends, Tara, owner of Peculiar Roots, she used to tell us all the time, baby, you can cut, copy, but the paste ain't gonna be the same. And so you can try to do what I do and be who I am, but you're not going to get me. And so
Right.
self-care is so important because you are a precious commodity. I want you both to understand you are a precious resource. You are not a machine. You're not built to go forever, right?
Hmm.
We're built to rest and sleep, you
Hmm.
know. But we think, oh, I'm just gonna put a little coffee in this body and we're gonna run all day. And your body says, if you don't give me some water, give me
Yeah,
some
especially
fruit.
the older you get, like that may
Yes,
I am like, I don't know about that nowadays, but yeah,
yes,
I need my sleep and
absolutely.
all of that. Yeah,
Right.
but it's true.
Our body tells us and talks to us all the time, and it'll tell you. And it's amazing to me how they say all the time, the body keeps score. It really does. And so you got to know that you're not gonna get another body. Now we shall not all
Yeah,
sleep,
but
but we all
Right.
gonna be changed. So we know that. So we know this
Hmm.
body ain't going nowhere but in the ground. But
Hmm.
once it's in the ground, you can't go out there and dig me up and say, "Hey, what was that candle idea you told me about last week?" No, you know, I
Yeah,
mean,
fam.
yeah. And so you have to realize. Once I realized that I am a
right,
precious resource,
right.
right? And it's just like if I don't take care of me to make sure I'm refilled, whether that's physically, emotionally,
Hmm.
mentally, then I'm and not only am I doing myself a disservice, but I'm also doing a disservice to the people I encounter,
Right,
right?
Hmm.
Because now
right.
you're getting frustrated me. Now you're getting
Right.
short me. Now
Hmm.
you're getting me with no patience, no tolerance. I'm not serving in love no more. I'm not,
Hmm.
my heart ain't in it. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
And
right,
so
Yeah.
right.
that's why we
Hmm.
have to really step back, because when you're depleted, and sometimes I can tell just as plain when I'm interacting with a customer or a client or something like that. And I'm like, baby, just sit down for a minute.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Let's just sit here.
Yeah.
Can I have 1 minute of your time? And we just
Hmm.
gonna sit here in complete silence. Because that's another thing. We don't like silence. Why not?
Hmm.
Because then I think we get scared to hear from God. I think we get scared of the voices and the intuition, right? And we don't never want to sit in silence. Sit in silence.
Hmm.
I've gotten my best instruction and direction when I sit in silence.
Mm.
I love
I
that.
Oh my
think that's why when
goodness.
we get off work, we pull in the car, we in the driveway, we turn
Hmm.
the car off, turn the music off, and we sit. It's just
Just sit and be. Yeah.
yeah,
We
just
so
be.
on the go, it's hard to do that, but it is important to take the time. Now, one last question. Where do you see yourself in your business in 5 years?
Wow. I hope in 5 years, let me see when my any of my grandchildren be old enough to make candles. Well, you know what? What I hope to do ultimately with this candle business is hand it off to my grandkids and my children.
Okay, okay.
Um, I'm not going to be making candles the rest of my life. That is not my intention. I should say that is not my intention. I don't know what God has planned, right? But I hope to eventually hand it off to them and then go do something else. I don't know. Maybe I go build motorcycles or something.
And isn't it great to have options and know that you can,
And
try
that
something
was
else?
one of the reasons why I leaned into this though, because I wanted them to have options. I wanted them to be able to see something else besides going to work for some company or going to work for somebody. And you got to ask them when can I take some time. Like, boy, listen, because I am very much a supporter of people starting businesses. Now I
Hmm.
do realize everybody can't be an entrepreneur. I get that,
Right.
but I
Yeah.
think that if there's anything that you can help create wealth and build wealth for you, I think you should do it.
Hmm.
Most
Hmm.
definitely.
Mhm.
I agree with you 100% on
That's
that.
amazing.
Yes, because it's nothing like you said, going to a job, a 9 to 5 that you dread. Uh, and I've been in that situation before.
Yes, ain't it hard? Like,
Yeah,
oh my God, how can I
yeah.
pray? How can I hate something that I prayed for? Oh my God,
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
because I've had that, have that experience. I'm like, I can't believe I was
Hmm.
praying and fasting for this job with these old crazy people, and then
Yes.
I realized that, I was there for a purpose. And so, but it's nothing more heartbreaking than having to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and do something that you absolutely positively do not want to do.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
And I just don't want to live like that. I don't want to, I don't, it's such a waste. Like, no. Mm-mm.
I think it's a waste, but at the same time, I think part of the healthy journey is just learning to give yourself some grace.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to know, yeah, I made some mistakes, but here I am today, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm moving
Mm-hmm.
forward, and I'm doing this, and other people will remember because they
Mm-hmm.
never forget. You know, especially the people that don't want you to get there.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
I wrote a
they
book.
never forget.
Right. I wrote a book one time, The Art of Letting Go. Right. And
Hmm.
it talks about shame and forgiveness and negative self-talk, right? Because negative
Hmm.
self-talk is a big thing. And I always say to us, talk to you like you would talk to your best friend. Like really,
Yeah.
I really be on that like talk to me nice thing.
Yes.
And I have to tell myself, talk to you nice, because like you said, that sometimes we can kind of be in this place of not giving ourselves grace,
Yes.
and not giving ourselves mercy. And I always try to handle myself with kid gloves because for so many years, could nobody beat me up. And even now, can't nobody beat me up like I beat me up. I mean,
No.
and so I've had to
Mm-mm.
learn to talk nice to me,
Yeah.
treat me
Yeah.
like I treat my friends. One of the things I do now, I take myself to dinner, I take myself to lunch, and it may seem like a small thing, but for me, it's the effort I put into making sure that I'm okay,
Yes.
you know.
And that's
Mhm.
that's the key. It's difficult navigating life, and we do sometimes treat others better than we treat ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We don't give
um,
ourselves enough credit, you know.
yes, and
Um,
we're our harshest critic. Yes,
yeah,
so
yeah.
most
But like she
definitely.
said, you got to learn to give yourself grace and know that you're gonna make mistakes. The biggest learning tool is a mistake.
Mm.
And
It
that's true
sure
because
is.
I learned so many lessons from several things that I thought were failures, but they were lessons. I learned
Can we
from it.
talk about that, ma'am? Can we talk
Yes,
about that? Let me tell you
yes,
something.
Hmm.
I did not know this until, like I said, year two and a half in this business, and I thought I was absolutely gonna lose my mind. They're not failures though, and I had to learn that. It's no
hmm,
such thing as failure. It is an experience.
yes.
And so for me, I took my failures personally.
Mm.
And then I had to learn
I did
that
too.
it's not really a failure, it's an experience, right?
Hmm.
And so if that experience may not work, but take it, see, and literally disassemble it. See, was this screw not long enough? Or like I do that with, like when I first started. well, probably, yeah, like 2.5 years. If I released a candle and it bombed, oh my God, it was the end of
You thought the world was going to.
right. For at least a week, it was the end of the world. And I just realized, I was like, you taking this awful personal.
Yep.
Ma'am, you walking around here with your lips poked out. But what did you do? Did you just, because I'm like, I sometimes think I'm Beyonce and I'll just wake up and have a good idea and let's drop this product. And then I'll be mad when people don't buy it. Well, you ain't told nobody you had it. You're not Beyonce. You cannot drop a candle line and not without any promo. You need promo, baby. And you need a lot of it. So that's that kind of stuff. So when you disassemble what you think is a fair, you're like, oh, I didn't know that I need to tout my product like at least a month before. Right. And if you're selling books, you need to do it 6 months before. You got to get people talking way before, but I ain't know. So then when it didn't pop off like I wanted it to, I thought it was me. Oh my God, what did I do? You didn't promote that. But see, when you look at it as, okay, this is an experience, right? I didn't fail as a person, right? I failed to promote that capital. That's what I failed. That's what. But then when you look at it, you're like, oh, I can prevent this from happening. Yes.
Yeah.
It's like you don't know what you don't know, though.
And that's the key. You don't know until
you don't know what you don't know.
Yes. But I learned because I am not Beyonce. I thought I was. I thought, your girl is doing.
All I gotta do is drop it.
First of all, the people that buy my cameras ain't even up at midnight. Okay, please just sleep. Okay. And then my people need about 2 weeks to try to figure out, now, is this really Cassandra? Because they know I play so much, right? It takes my people about 2 weeks to be like, well, girl, I can't hardly see your stuff. And I'll be like, oh, God. So then when the stuff doesn't do like I think that it should, it's because, I could have did something better on the promo side or something like that. But that's stuff you don't know until you're like, oh my God, my business is failing. That's where I was. Oh my God, this business is failing. Well, I can't be mad. I don't know about no business. Okay. Second of all, let me go connect with somebody that do know what they're doing, and let me figure out, and my business coach is she tough. If you follow me on social media, she will hop on the post. What is this? Or she will say, like, she hopped on I've been having some problems with trying to get something done, and she hopped on the post yesterday, and she was like, all right, let's schedule a Zoom so I can walk you through this. Right? And so that's the beauty. I don't feel like I'm alone anymore.
Yes, and that's the key, because a lot of people who first start out in business, small business, they do feel like that. They get overwhelmed. They start doubting, am I really supposed to be doing this?
Yes.
And then when you do end up getting it with other, and that's why I really believe in community in anything, because it shows you that, like you said, you're not alone. There's other people that have gone through this, and then you can learn from the mistakes that they made, or they have made those same mistakes that you have, and you know that it's not just you.
You know what? And it's so true in the book world as well, right? I meet so many new authors or budding authors. It tickles me because all of them tell me they're gonna make the New York Times bestseller list, and I'm like, baby, you don't understand how hard that is, but okay. And I said, okay, who are you following on social media? And they're telling me all of these celebrities. And I'm saying, so you're not following anybody in the book industry. You're not looking at any current trends. You're not following any editor. You're not and I always ask, what Facebook groups are you in? And they tell me, oh, luxury living for Black women. Girl, if you don't go get in a group, it just don't make any sense. It's like, ma'am, go get in a book group so you can, first I want you to read the content. Right? Go through the files and see what's public, because that's where your gems are. Somebody don't put a spreadsheet of a publication timeline. But you only thing you focus on, I'm gonna hit the New York Times bestseller. I'm not saying that you're not. I'm just saying you got to have a whole lot of pieces in place at the right time for it to happen. And it doesn't happen for us a lot. But here they come with their pamphlet, and it's 12 pages, and you're like, ma'am, this is not a book. Let's talk about what is considered a novel, how many words that is,
and that's the stuff that you need to know, though, because a lot of people don't. When you first start out, you don't know that stuff.
Exactly. And so even like now, somebody will inbox me and they'll say, how did you get your book deal? Girl, don't ask me. I can put you in touch with people that do this. I had somebody inbox me last week and said, I need a screenwriter. Do you know one? I know several, but what are you trying to do? Like, which one? And so you know that they haven't done their homework in this
Right.
industry. And so one
Yeah.
of the things I really I don't like people see people get taken advantage of. So I spend time connecting people with other people, even in the book
Mhm.
world now, of like, okay, like LaShira Lee's event. Like my Christian fiction authors that people I say it's two events you need to go to every year. That's Lights Camera Action and it's the Christian book lovers retreat.
Lovers, yeah.
Because if you're a Christian fiction writer, this is your audience. These are your people. You need to go and read authors, editors, other people who will be reading, consuming your content. What are they like?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so, because I always tell people, I don't write Christian fiction. I don't write Christian fiction. I write faith-filled fiction because my people fight and act crazy and be mad
Right.
at God and talk
Mhm.
junk and ain't saved. Now they're gonna meet Jesus in there,
Mhm.
but it's for quite a while. They don't know nothing about it. And so I don't tell people I write Christian fiction. I tell them I write faith-filled fiction because at some point you're going to meet Jesus. But I'm a Christian and I act crazy too. So
Mhm.
all
Right.
the Christians I know act crazy. So why would
Like
I?
you said, it runs the gamut, the
Yeah,
gambit. So
yeah. And
it's
so
not
you
Yeah.
have to be able to.
even
Um,
say edgy Christian.
yes. See, I told you. Did I tell you? Be honest. Be honest. Because people want to label you and put you on. Say you can only do this. You can only do that. No, I can do anything I want to do.
Right. That's the
Right.
good thing about indie publishing too, is that you're not restricted by what the publishers want you to put out.
Right. And then
Yeah.
you even need to know the ramifications of being an indie, right?
That's true. That's true.
You need to know that you need a line editor, that you need a content. Like if his name is Fred on page 1, his name still need to be Fred on page 2.
Right, right, right.
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 Right. Right.
When see people don't understand when you're writing a book, the book and all of the people live in your head. Your job is to translate what's in your head into a piece of paper, which
Mhm.
means my brain automatically fills in because I know the story. So it's just like you ever see on Facebook where they put those things where the letters are backwards and all this other stuff, and you still can
Right.
read it because your brain fills it in. And so I tell them, like, even with being an indie, one of the things you have to be very cautious about is when you're writing that book and you are living in the scene, but the person isn't. So
Right.
you got to keep it consistent the whole way through because your
Mhm.
brain fill in the spaces, but mine don't. So when I get it and read it, I'm like, what is this? You got
Right.
a top and cowboy boots and purple hair, but it's 22 degrees outside. Like
Right. Right. Right.
you didn't have an editor to read it and say,
They catch that stuff. Yeah.
yeah, you
Mhm.
just throw it out there in Indie land, and then you get 25 one-star reviews, and then you upset and you like, maybe God didn't call you. Well, maybe God called you, but he also called you to get an editor too, you know.
Mhm.
And
But
Yeah.
so
that's another thing too. It's so many the different types of editor. You have to know what kind of editor you need and all of that. It's so much.
Right.
hopefully you get a real one and not somebody just started last week and scamming and just say, you know what?
That too. Yeah. That
And,
too.
and it's always funny because somebody say, my cousin Helen teaches third grade English and she gonna edit my
Oh
bus.
yeah.
You go ahead because
Mhm.
I don't think that's what you want, but go ahead. And so you try to be a resource, at least for me,
Mhm.
and tell people like I don't care what business you're in, you need to know the rules of the business. You
Of
need to
that business.
know,
Yeah.
you need to make sure that you do as much research on this side because once you get the product in front of the people, it's hard to do the research then.
Mhm.
You got to try to do as much as that on the front side as
Right.
possible. Again, you don't know what you don't know. Like my business coach, there's some things that she's doing, and I'm like, I don't even know if I want to do that.
Mhm.
She
And
was
that's
on,
when it comes down to tailoring it
yeah,
to
because
what
like
your
she was
needs
just on the
are.
Country Music Awards. You know,
Okay.
I'm
Oh
like,
wow.
girl, I know what that looked like. No, I don't want to work like that. Like, I don't. No. She's on Good Morning America quite frequently. I'm like, no,
Okay.
because I can't do it. you know, and knowing what your limitations are and knowing when
That's
to
key.
ask for help. And
Mhm.
knowing when to
That's
say,
key.
you know what, this was an amazing time, but I'm going to move on and do something else and think no more about it.
And that's part of business too. You see all the time people rebranding. You got to
Yeah,
sometimes you have to pivot and go this way when you thought you were going to be going this way.
we get ready to rebrand because I'm sick of looking at our labels. And I'm going to tell
Mhm.
you something. People that follow Black Girl Candle Company know I'm just as spastic as I want to be. Listen, they know that uh if I get tired of looking at labels, after a while the candle's gonna come looking a little different. They know that I will snatch a box down in a heartbeat. Like I'm not, they know that about me. That's one of the things that they love about me. Like, Cass, yes, we're gonna change some stuff around here. You got to see what works, and stuff like that. And
True.
you can't be afraid to try different things. But if when the season comes for me to not do this anymore, I'm okay. Like, even if I wake up in the midnight hour when the Lord said, "Don't make another candle," I'm like, all right, I'm go down there and lock the door.
Mm-hmm.
And just because I want to, I want to do all of the things that He gives me permission to do. You know.
I
I
like that.
love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that you already have it. You already said it. You already have in your mind that this is not something that you planned on doing anyway. For the rest of your life, you
Yeah,
wanted to.
and I really wanted my children and grandchildren to realize and understand. I think so. COVID did a couple things, for at least for me in my life and the people I know and stuff. It taught us that we have to figure out a way to take care of ourselves. We can't depend on jobs, and job security to take care of us. Like, my mother and my parents. Like, if you worked a job 30 years, you got your nice little watch and you got
Yes.
pension. Well,
Yes.
we ain't even guaranteed a pension at this point, with the
Right.
silliness that's going on in this world. But I
Yeah.
think that COVID also taught us that we need to create income for us, right, to take care of our families where we're going to be okay. But you also seeing a big push, with African American, especially African American women, to buy land and homestead. And because I think we realize how much we are not in control of how much food we get, whether we can get some toilet paper, if the store gonna be open. And I
Wasn't
know,
that something that really taught us something? Then when you
yes,
couldn't get the basic needs stuff, basic need items.
listen, and we
Um,
learned how to make stuff. Like, I learned how to make laundry detergent, and it's good
Yes.
detergent. You know what I'm saying? I learned how to make carpet freshener, and it's great carpet freshener, because I learned, really, what it taught me is that I need to go back to doing the things my grandmother was doing, right? And my great grandmother was doing, can some stuff.
yeah.
Um, and so for me, it just made me really think about, I although I love my job, but what if it's not here? How am I going to live?
Hmm.
How am I going to
Hmm.
feed myself and take care of myself? And I think a lot of women kind of was like, you know what, I got to find me a little side something. But I love the stuff we're doing. Like, I follow TikTok, and I love when I see Black women rehabbing furniture and
Oh, okay.
building walls. And right now, I'm loving the women I see that have decided to sell their homes and buy RVs and travel the country,
Oh.
work, and just the stuff that I'm seeing Black women do. I am like, go girl, like, because what it does is it lets me know that
I
there are
like that.
possibilities out of the things that I've been taught.
Hmm.
Taught me
Hmm.
to go to school, get a degree, because that's what they were taught. But they didn't tell me about thankfully the $275,000 in student loans I had forgiven. Thankfully,
Yeah.
but we didn't know that.
Right.
About that trick, you go to college, you'll get a good job. No, it doesn't guarantee that, but you're gonna get some debt probably.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So
yeah. Yeah.
when I follow these things, they give me hope that, and to see us stretch out, right? And one of the groups I'm in, homesteading for Black women on Facebook, a lady just closed on 50 acres like today.
Oh.
And the other thing I'm seeing with a lot of African American women is compound living, and I'm like, that is so cool,
I
right?
Mm-hmm.
don't know about that.
You know what? I was talking to my son about it last night, and I think that we may do that, because having all of us on one parcel of land, like, if you go by, it's
Mm-hmm.
not a lot of us though. I mean, it's probably about 10 of us, and if we go by at least 10 acres, everybody got an acre. That's
Yeah.
enough.
Hmm.
That's enough
Oh, yeah,
distance.
that's enough space.
That's
Yeah, you're
plenty.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how we used to live. That's
Yes.
how
It
we
was.
used to
I'm
live
telling
like
you.
that. And we used to live all in one house,
Yeah.
I have
different
seen so
generations.
many families on TikTok, Black families that are doing this, and I am like, I'm loving it. Because that's my thing. I'm gonna buy me some land somewhere. Because
Hmm.
I think what happened on January 6th is going to happen again. I think that was just a chess move, just to check things to see how far they could go. And no harm or disrespect, but I want to be in a place where these folks get that and crazy. I can pull my fence All right.
Mm-hmm.
As long
Yeah.
as you're on that side of that fence, you can
Yeah,
you
we are
walk.
definitely in some
Every
crazy
moment you come
times.
over here on my
Scary.
land, you
It's
have some
scary.
problems, So just about kind of like you said, that self-care and making sure that I'm okay, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
agree with you. And I thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with us and
Love
being the
it.
first business, our first business
Yes.
highlight.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Thank you
you.
for having me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're
Yes,
welcome. And I
ma'am.
definitely will be getting a few of your candles. That's why I
Yes.
wanted to know which ones
Me
were
too.
your most popular ones to start out with. So
Yay.
because I love candles anyway, so that's right up my alley. And I wanted to ask you too, because I noticed on your website you do other products too. Then you have, I think I saw some on there for the men beard
Oh yeah,
oil.
we do beard oil, we do body oil,
Okay,
and our beard oil is second to none. It is absolutely second to
okay,
none.
I get some from my husband then. Okay,
Yes, and we can, and I make all of our products. All of our products are all natural. I make them
okay,
from
Okay.
our candles to our beer oil. We used to offer body butters. I don't know if I want to continue because one of the things about being creative, right? Once you start being creative, you get so many other creative ideas, and so
yes,
body butters and all kind of stuff. But now part of the pullback, like, no, this is a candle.
right, right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes.
You ain't got to sell everything, Ken.
Everything to come in your head. Because I go through that too. You get so many ideas and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like, oh my goodness, I want
Uh-huh.
to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Right. And they
and you
tell
only
me
have so
that
much
our
time in
products
the
is
day.
healing. Yeah, and they tell me that our products are healing, and so
Okay.
I know that the men that use our beard oil, like some of them have had like really flaky bad skin and dandruff in their beards, but they use our products and it clears completely up. And so people tell us that about our body butters, that it's healing. I said, girl, don't say that because I don't want the FDA over here messing with me. Just use the body butter. Don't tell nobody. You just get your healing and don't tell nobody. Just go on. But they kept telling people. And I was at a event, and this lady was like, "Oh my God, I had this problems up under something, and I put your body butter, and it completely cleared up." I said, "Don't tell nobody else
Mm-mm.
that." It's a great testimony, but I really don't want to be fooling with the FDA. I just don't want
Mhm.
to do it. So yeah,
I hear
and,
you.
and that's one of those things, being creative and having these like, oh my God, I can do this.
Mhm.
We do the body scrubs, and again, that's part of the pool bail. I'm not no,
Okay.
I'm not doing no body scrubs.
And
I make candles.
let me pull back on all that other stuff. I hear
Yes,
you though. I
yes,
hear
yes,
you. Because that's part of that self-care. You want to make
yes.
sure because it's only so much time in the day. I have to go through that too. I'm like, I can't believe, trying to get all this in but during the waking hours, you
Yes.
know,
Mhm.
and then you feel like, oh no, I failed in some way, and
Right.
Mhm.
Yep.
where you're not able to do it.
Mhm. Yes,
or
yes,
or
yes,
you wore out the next day and
Yeah.
it's showing. Yeah,
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And
I
and
totally get it.
yeah, you just next thing you know, you got 20,000 things, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I struggle with the same thing. So yeah, I definitely get it because I was like, I need to pull back on some of these days with these shows because
Mm-hmm.
it's not just the show. You have to do all the prep
The
work and
prep
all that
time.
Prep.
stuff.
That's
Yeah.
Because I
right.
used to host a radio show for 5 years. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
know.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Yep.
doing
So
that no more either. No. Because
yes.
the prep is so hard, and then trying to research
Yes.
people and
That's what I had
filtering
to let
questions.
people know. It's not just, it's a lot of work that goes into this
It
stuff,
is. It
So,
is. And I'm
yeah.
sorry I was not as responsive as I should have been. I do apologize.
No, that's fine. I know you got a lot going on too. So, but
Mhm.
I definitely, I'm glad we were able to make this happen
Awesome.
and continue success with Black Girl Candle Company.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. And
Okay.
thank you, Miss Eva and Ola and everyone in the audience. And make sure to join us next week. We'll be talking about music. We'll be talking about R&B ballads. What
Yes.
happened? Where have they gone?
Mm,
Yes. So make sure to tune in. If you haven't followed us, make sure to follow us. And everyone have a great evening, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Good night.
good night.